The Community Forum of New Territories development turned violent as protesters argued against each other. Hong Kong students expressed their disappointment as some schools suppressed students from protesting. Thank you for joining us.
Making news in Perth, opposition accused Colin Barnett for wasting taxpayers' money. And Fremantle was awarded with the Top Tourism Award from GWN7.
This is the Evening News.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the New Territories development issue that tears apart Hong Kong residents as both sides refused to give way. During the final community forum, the Secretary for Development, Paul Chan, was booed by protesters as the war of words becomes the war of violence.
The final community forum regards to the New Territories Development Project was held on last Saturday in Hong Kong. Secretary for Development Paul Chan was booed by protesters. The forum has arranged more than 8,000 seats for local residents, allowing them to voice out their concerns. However, there were only few residents made their speech in the beginning, along with legislative councillors and politicians joined the forum. During the meeting, protesters and the local New Territories residents had physical collision. Two parties verbally abused each other and started fighting afterwards. Secretary for Development has not made any changes after hearing the opinions. Queenie Lee, DHK News.
Hong Kong students expressed their worries during the press conference yesterday. They are concerned as the Education Department allegedly used money to attract schools to kickstart the national education syllabus. They are disappointed about some schools in the area suppressing the students' right to demonstrate against the scheme.
下年會唔會教育局重施故技，係利誘學校推行國民教育，每間學校再派多100萬呢？呢一啲都係學民思潮非常之擔心嘅。
Australia's Federal Environment Minister Tony Burke has attended an environmental gala dinner in Hong Kong.
Mr. Burke has attended along with Hong Kong Environment Secretary, together celebrating the successful filming of the documentary about plastic pollution on our oceans. The documentary will be available for sale next year. Back to Perth, the opposition has questioned the Barnett Government for spending 28,000 Australian dollars on the polling research for the Bigger Picture advertisement campaign. WA Shadow Treasurer Ben Wyatt slammed the Premier Colin Barnett as he refused to release the polling questions and results to the Parliament. State Political Editor Kristian Dwyer has been following the story.
WA Premier Colin Barnett just can't seem to catch a break in the current election race, with WA Labor again on the attack on the topic of government spending. Shadow Treasurer Ben Wyatt has come out again criticising the government's $28,000 spending on the polling of their See the Bigger Picture campaign.
And I think any Western Australian would be quite right to ask the question, how come Colin Barnett has his priorities so wrong, where he's willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars polling the success of his government?
It again is an issue that plays on Barnett's integrity, as the issue of government spending on polling, as well as advertising, was something that the Premier had called to ban in previous years, and continues to dog the coalition. On the 29th of May 2012, the Premier was quoted as saying the following: "I will stand corrected if there has been, but to the best of my knowledge, no polling has been done by this government." Money is the word on political lips at the moment, with Miss Allergy divulging a report this week showing that despite complex checks being undertaken, those applying for the Working with Children system, some were still falling through the cracks, due to an overworked and underfunded screening unit. Miss Ellery went on the attack, questioning the coalition's priorities at a time when there were 9,300 backlogged applications.
The Barnett government needs to decide what are their priorities. Is it big buildings in the city, or is it responding to an independent review telling us that the child protection system doesn't have the resources it needs?
The Working with Children's Act was made mandatory in 2004, and since then has made sure that not just convicted criminals, but also those that have been charged with offences do not work with children. Kristian Dwyer, DHK News.
The Premier Colin Barnett showed a lighter side as he attended a compact version of this year's royal show at Princess Margaret Hospital, giving sick children in WA a chance to have a bit of fun. Alexandra Mollo has this report.
For the first time, it's showtime at Princess Margaret Hospital, where children enjoyed the fun and magic of this year's royal show. The initiative was presented by the Royal Agricultural Society and funded by the state government. Premier Colin Barnett referred to the event as a great opportunity for children to experience the show with friends and family.
Just to see the excitement on children's faces to get out of bed, to be out of the ward, walking around in the sunshine with their families, with their brothers and sisters.
Traditional show bags, sideshow rides and laughing clowns were among children's favourite attractions. The fun was for everyone, including children who couldn't leave their beds, as they were also entertained by celebrity visits to their bedsides and awarded with show bags and prizes. But that's not all. Children at PMH were also privileged to witness the wide range of this year's Royal Show's headline attractions. Alexandra, Mollo, DHK News.
The Fremantle Visitor Centre was recently awarded the GWN7 Top Tourism Award for its outstanding services provided to visitors. The purchase by the City of Fremantle as part of a marketing approach has achieved great results. Timothy Seow has more.
The Fremantle Visitor Centre was awarded the 2012 GWN7 Top Tourism Award in the category of Heritage last Thursday at a gala dinner in Mandurah.
The City of Fremantle, as part of its economic development strategy, decided to purchase back the visitor centre and operate it ourselves on a more coordinated basis and in a way that's integrated with our general approach to marketing the City of Fremantle.
Deputy Mayor Josh Wilson feels that the award indicates that the visitor centre is operating more effectively than it had already done previously.
The fact that we've received the award indicates that the visitor centre is operating more effectively than it had done, and I think of course that will generate more visitors and provide better service to people who are visiting.
The City of Fremantle is one of the top destinations for tourists who are visiting Western Australia and seems to be constantly increasing. Timothy Seow, DHK News.
Spring is approaching fast in the Southern Hemisphere, with the number of spring allergy cases skyrocketing in Latin American countries. It's believed that almost 44% of San Diego's population suffered from spring allergies. DHK News Chile correspondent Ramir Perez has spoken to one of them.
With the peak of the spring's allergy season fast approaching, millions of children are keeping their tissue boxes close by and trying to decide whether a walk in the park is really such a good idea. The budding trees and blooming flowers associated with the return of springs mark an increase in itches, watery eyes, sneezing and other allergy symptoms. Warm, wet winters normally signals about allergy seasons in the springs, so be prepared for a beautiful springs with plenty of airborne pollen to breathe.
I never had this allergy before, just right now. It's incredible. Just since two weeks ago, I start to feel my nose is very wet all day long, morning, evening. Even when I'm sleeping, I start to cough. I'm not taking any medication. I'm not doing anything. Just just leaving this terrible stuff just pass away.
Many allergy sufferers wind up with secondary infections involving the sinuses, ears, throat, nose and lungs from untreated symptoms. Many allergy sufferers wind up with secondary infections involving the sinuses, ears, throat, nose and lungs from untreated symptoms. An allergist or immunologist can offer relief and a plan to control the cycle of symptoms. There are treatments that range from pills and nasal inhalants to shots that trick your immune system into accepting the pollen. For DHK News, Brian Ramirez, Santiago, Chile.
Here's Kristian Dwyer with a sports wrap.
Yes, tonight's wrap begins with the biggest news of the week. In Australia, the Brownlow medal. Despite no clear favourite going into the event, the early money was on Jobe Watson, and by the halfway point, the Essendon captain had streaked away to an 8-point lead, as short money such as Sydney's Josh Kennedy and Richmond's Trent Cotchin failed to poll votes early. Gold Coast's Gary Ablett and 2011 Brownlow winner Dane Swan managed to sneak their way back into contention in the back half of the season. However, it was one vote in round 20 of voting that secured it, as the big man from Windy Hill held on to pick up the AFL's biggest personal prize. It's a definite possibility that Quade Cooper's time at the Australian Wallabies and in rugby union could be coming to an end. The 24-year-old Queensland Reds fly half, who's amassed 38 games in his Wallabies career, came out this week in the press to complain of a toxic environment that was plaguing the national setup. Waratahs winger Adam Ashley Cooper, however, has come out to dispel the fracture between Cooper, Coach Deans and the ARU, stating that the comments made would not distract Australia ahead of their rugby championship clash against South Africa on Saturday at Loftus Versfeld. And finally, some great news in regards to West Australian A-League side Perth Glory, whom after their near-flawless pre-season will welcome former coach Bernd Stanger back as guest of honour for the opening clash against Brisbane Roar on October 7. The enigmatic German, who coached the Glory from 1999 to 2000, will be joined by an array of former Glory legends over the club's 17-year history before the heated clash sparked by emotions regarding the controversial 2012 A-League Grand Final. And with that, that's the wrap on sport for this week. Don't forget the big match this weekend, the AFL Grand Final at 12:30 p.m. Western Standard Time. I know Ivan's really looking forward to it, and as a lifelong Sydney fan, I am too. Cheer, cheer, the red and the white. And that's all in sport. Ivan.
Go Hawks. That's how the world looks tonight.
Anna Godden will be back on this chair next week. Good evening.
Good night.